What's up, basketball world? What's going on? Yes, I'm doing this video here, of course, about basketball. Yes, so I had a conversation about people of who you think is the GOATs, greatest of all time. Now, everybody has their own opinion about who's the greatest of all time and why, and come with these good arguments. And the ones that are kind of weak, I just kind of just like throw it away. But yeah, you go from Michael Jordan, most commonly named used, to Kobe, to LeBron James, to Magic Johnson, to this guy, and to Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, you hear quite a few names, but the most name you're gonna hear the most so than not, obviously, is Michael Jordan. Someone asked me, well, what you think, or who you think is the greatest player of all time to ever play the game of basketball? I went greatest of all time in terms of position, or greatest of all time in terms of no matter what position he played, just name that one guy out of thousands of players who went through the NBA in and out. So guy was like, okay, well, let's go by. We'll get to positions later, but I want to know who the greatest player of all time is. Period. Point blank. Oh, you really want my answer? I'm like, okay. You think it's LeBron James, huh? Because that's your favorite player? No. Mm-hmm. I was about to say, well, who do you think is the best player of all time then? Nobody. I don't think anyone is the greatest player of all time. I would say that you're the greatest player in your era, greatest player of your decade, the greatest player that played the position, but the greatest player ever, regardless of who it is, nobody. That's my honest input, nobody. Tell you why, or I think why I say nobody. Let me start with Wilt Chamberlain. So I did run into two people on Facebook who made me cry laughing tears about Wilt Chamberlain. Because he was trying to debate with me about LeBron versus Kobe and LeBron versus somebody else. He was getting frustrated. He was losing. He went desperate and went Wilt Chamberlain. I was dying laughing. He kept tagging me on Facebook saying, "Why are you not responding? Why are you not responding?" Here's the thing. Wilt Chamberlain was a freak of nature. He was good. Scored 100 points in the game. Scored so many 40-point games, 50-point games, and whatever. Did grab about 50 plus rebounds in the game. I went, and you say he's the greatest player of all time. Well, here's my issue with him. Rest in peace, by the way. He played. I repeat, he played in a weak era. I'm not gonna sit here and say how good he is, but you did it. Your skills and talents and stuff were this big, but the level of competition was this big. You were very dominant, very superior, and all this other stuff. Talking about him, he was very dominant against inferior opponents. They ain't have 3 seconds in the paint and all those other rules that we do have now. So he could basically live underneath the basket. So he's the greatest player of all time because of that? No. Furthermore, yes, and then he run across superior teams. He post up good stats against them, but turn around and lose. But hey, game of basketball is a team sport rather than individual, but that individual should make a difference in his team to help his teammates win games. Bill Russell's winning all these chips. He's over here showing you why he's all that good in the bag of chips and whatever. Okay, he used to give Bill Russell problems one-on-one individually. Bill Russell had the better team, so we didn't even go that far. But yeah, for you to be very dominant, very superior against inferior opponents who aren't as skilled as you, who aren't as talented as you, who's not really as tall as you, along with your abilities and your athleticism and explosiveness and everything else, that's why I kind of discredit the simple fact that some people, it was two guys on my Facebook page talking about Wilt Chamberlain, to them is the GOAT. And statistically says this. If you played against legit centers, Patrick Ewing, and even some of the other power forwards too, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem, yeah, some say Kareem is the GOAT. David Robinson, all these other guys. And I even told this one dude who thinks Wilt is the greatest. I went, if you was up against Shaq, you think he had 55 rebounds? I went, Shaq is nearly 400 pounds. Ain't no moving him out of the way. Sorry, you're just not gonna move him out of the way. Now, Hakeem Olajuwon, he gonna outsmart you. So these centers that came later on, right before Magic and right before Jordan, and a little bit after them, I go, these centers were legit. And these power forwards were legit. You're not going to grab 55 rebounds in the game at all. Sorry. It's not going to happen. Yeah, you did it against inferior opponents. Okay, so you the GOAT? No. You're the greatest in your era. During the runs that you was in the league. I go along with that. Alright, and then some people say Michael Jordan. I like Michael Jordan. First favorite player in the NBA. Now, I did saw an article about 10 reasons why Michael Jordan should be considered the GOAT. Some of those reasons were good, valid argument points to consider. But I will say that there are other things that many players have accomplished that he did not accomplish. I could say this about anybody because there are certain things out there that's been done before that a lot of players are so-called the GOAT never done. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double during his sophomore season. No man's ever did that in NBA history but him. Michael never did that. Wilt never did it. Kareem never did it. Magic never did it. LeBron James never did it. Kobe never did it. And it's not just one thing. I could pinpoint what other people done that everybody else did not do. So it's kind of hard to say who's the GOAT. And yes, during Jordan's run of winning championships, there were quite a few expansion teams that were added to the NBA, something that a lot of people won't acknowledge, which means more fairer opponents and teams. So you like to say, oh, the East is weak and this, that, and the third. And when Michael played against the Lakers, a beat-up Laker team, he did dominate that series, which was good. However, you did against a team that was depleted, injured, beat down, and that was it. 4 games to 1. Walked away that way. And also, Michael Jordan, a lot of people don't want to say this. You could think I'm hating or whatever the case may be, but he really didn't get going until Scottie Pippen became his teammate. He didn't start winning. He didn't start really dominating along with winning until he had a sidekick by the name of Scottie Pippen, who eventually became part of the top 50 greatest players of all time list in NBA history, along with Michael. And they both are Hall of Famers. When Michael retired the first time, Scottie Pippen led the way. Scottie Pippen was a nominee for League's MVP award. They finished 50 wins and 32 losses without Michael. Now, they did not win a title without Michael, and Michael never won a title without Scottie Pippen. They both have 6, and they were each other's teammates. So, you can say you're the greatest of all time if you like, but almost every superstar player has flaws that are legit that you could pinpoint. And my biggest flaw for Michael that I would use is the Scottie Pippen person, because how many times would he have won if he didn't have Scottie Pippen on his team? And he never made it far during any course of the season in the postseason without Scottie Pippen. First round exits. That's all he's been through. Scottie Pippen without Michael, he went further. Now, during his first retirement, you figure if one guy leaves this team that's just this superior, shouldn't the team decline? Like how when LeBron James left Cleveland, went to Miami, that Cleveland team declined. They had 3 number 1 overall picks. During Michael Jordan's run, they never had a first overall pick. So that's a little flaw there too. You won't call it little, small, big, large, whatever. Kobe Bryant, the guy who impersonates Michael Jordan. He possessed so many bad records, it's ridiculous. Most missed shots in regular season. Most missed shots in the playoff series. The playoffs, period. And the NBA Finals. All-time leader in missed field goal attempts. How are you the greatest player of all time with them bad records that you possess? That doesn't work. And oh yeah, you impersonate somebody else who was before you to the fullest extent in Michael Jordan. And he's not even as efficient or effective as Michael Jordan, but you want to impersonate him on the court, though. If he's, to some people, not considered a GOAT, how are you? And you trying to be like this guy over here who's not. That's the easy one for me. LeBron James, he's not the GOAT either, because there are some things that he can do and should do, but don't. Like, for example, he does sometimes defer to teammates at the wrong times, and his unselfishness renders him at times when he should not be unselfish, especially during clutch moments at times. Now, as the few years went by, the past 3-4 years, he's been getting better at it, but then again, he still goes back to that old LeBron James. Players like Kobe, Magic, and all of them, they didn't defer to anybody unless they were a guaranteed knockdown shooter, kind of like a Steve Kerr or somebody of that nature, who could bury that shot. Robert Horry, him too. Not referred to a player who's pretty much a scrub and you relying off of him to get the job done. No. I like Hakeem Olajuwon. I like Kareem. They're not GOATs either. So my whole logic of who's the greatest player of all time, nobody. I mean, you can disagree with me all you want to. We all have opinions and stuff, because it is pretty much an opinionated question. But I'm going to say nobody. And my reasons why are because no superstar is flawless. None of them are. Every superstar has a flaw or two. And all it takes is one for you to say that he or she is not flawless. So that's my input on who's the GOAT of basketball. I'll say certain persons is the best in his decade, best in his era. Not of all time, just that one specific individual. But that's my opinion, that's my comments, that's what I think and believe. Won't you tell me what you think, what you believe? Comment on this video, share it, do whatever it is you can do. Tell your friends, families, whoever, whatever. And I'll be more than happy to read your comments as well. So, yeah, I don't have a GOAT, but as far as who the best player is by point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, that's something different. I'll make a video about that too. So share this video. Tell me what you think.